I love this product more than any product I've ever taken, just so you know. We'll get into that.
More than any product?
Any product I've ever taken.
It's a bold statement.
It is a bold statement, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But that's not the only product that we're introducing today.
Yeah, we said two.
Yes,
we said a couple of announcements.
So what's the other one?
The other one is going to go right with Think, and this is Omega Pro. Omega Pro, we're bringing about a premium product, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But before we get into Omega Pro, we said two announcements, Think and Omega Pro. Let's jump into why.
Okay.
Why are we doing this? Now, everybody knows that we've been talking about this gut-brain connection for quite a while. And we need to continue to talk about it because it is incredibly powerful. Mm-hmm. This whole central nervous system and all of that communication that goes from the gut to the brain to the gut. We introduced X last fall.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and one of the reasons was let's get our guts in shape so that the communication and the signaling can be optimal.
That's right. That's right.
Think is being introduced because we want to prepare the other side of the brain. We want to make sure that the first brain, the primary brain, is ready for all of that signaling and balanced with the health that's taking place in our guts.
Yes.
We need to have the healthy brain as well.
Yes.
So, do you remember the commercial? Okay, so I'm probably going to date you. If you remember this. I'm going to date everybody.
Or you're going to make me old?
Well, I date you anyways.
Okay, all right.
We're married. If you don't know that, I do date her on a regular basis. So regarding this commercial, do you remember the commercial? It's back in the 80s, I want to say. And it was a piping hot frying pan with butter in it. And then the voice over the commercial said, "This is drugs." And then they crack an egg and they drop an egg in it. And then the voice comes over, "This is your brain on drugs," right?
Any questions?
Yeah,
okay.
We all remember that.
So yeah, if we admit that we remember that, I guess we are calling ourselves old.
Yeah,
that was a while ago.
Well, hopefully most of you remember that commercial.
Yes.
And I don't want to make too much of a dramatic effect from that commercial and saying anything that we're all prone to drugs. But what I want to do is take the feel of that commercial and translate it to something that most of us, if not all of us, do actually experience regarding our brains and the harm that we expose our brains to.
Right.
Now, what the example I want to share is this. Consider the frying pan, but not piping hot.
Okay.
You put it on the stove, and you crack your egg, and your egg is the brain, and you put it on into the frying pan. Mm-hmm. And then you just turn the frying pan on low. You're not going to see anything. You're not going to feel anything. The egg's going to be just fine. No problems, right? Mm-hmm. But if you leave it on low for an awful long time, I mean, more time than it takes to cook the egg, what's going to happen to the egg?
I would think that it would lose a lot of moisture and probably get very, dry and shrivel up.
Yes, and hard and like a rock. It's going to be less of what it's supposed to be because of the damage that's done. Even though the damage that's being done to it is slow and over time. That is more of what it's like to have our brains exposed to the natural dangers of the environment. Let me give you some facts.
Okay.
The brain weighs 2 pounds. Okay. It consumes 20% of the body's oxygen. Think about your entire body. That's significant. That is a huge amount. It is an energy monster when it comes because it has an awful lot to do. It does 125 trillion synaptic exchange.
Trillion with a T?
With a T.
Wow.
Like you and I and all of us really can't even comprehend what that is like.
Right.
What's going on inside. Let me tell you, your brain is powerful, and this is not to be a dissection of the brain and all that it can do, because we have to just accept the fact that the brain can do a gross amount of things that we can't even comprehend or really understand right now.
Right.
But we do understand that the effects of our environments over time cause damage to the brain.
Right.
Cellular damage. At the basic level, things start to break down and break apart. Stress in our lives. Who has stress?
I can't think of a single person who doesn't have stress.
Yes, everybody has stress. Stress in and of itself puts a pressure on the environment where that high consumption of oxygen actually leads to some danger. What about radiation? What about other toxins? Over a lifetime, we are exposed to so many factors that harm us.
You're talking about oxidative stress.
Yes.
This is something that Dr. Tucker actually talks a lot about.
Yes. Yeah, oxidative stress is like, if you don't know what oxidative stress is, consider it as being like rust on metal, right? Oxidative stress is rust on metal. You know that if you left the rust there on that metal over time, it's just going to eat it away.
You get the metal, but can you get rust off of metal?
Yes, you can.
Probably not easily, but...
Not easily, and usually you work at it over time. The same is the effect here when we're talking about the benefits. What can you do to the brain to protect it from oxidative stress? Well, first we have to understand what oxidative stress is. Oxidative stress is excess free radicals floating in that environment, and those free radicals can do damage.
Okay, I've heard free radicals a lot. I don't necessarily know what free radicals are.
Okay, good. Let's dive a little bit deeper.
Okay.
Radicals come from that oxygen consumption and the nature that they don't have an alignment, or in the brain's process of the antioxidant response, they aren't cleaned up. If they aren't cleaned up, then they're roaming free. When they roam free, this reactive oxygen species, that's the technical term, they can do damage. Now let me put a caveat there, okay? Reactive oxygen species aren't always bad.
Okay.
But when we have the wrong conditions, they will actually do harm. They do harm in a couple of ways. They do harm on macromolecules, and you're thinking like lipids and proteins and nucleic acid inside the brain specifically. But then they also do damage to the cell membranes. Here we're thinking like plasma and the mitochondrial and endomembrane structures and systems, all of which are throughout that central nervous system. Central nervous system, so I'm going to refer to that as the CNS.
Okay.
Okay.
Central
and we've
nervous
talked
system.
about, gut health,
All the
second
time.
brain,
Yes.
brain, primary brain. This whole thing and everything in between is all part of that central nervous system. The interesting thing about the CNS is this. Most systems within the body focus on one primary function. They have one main task that they're trying to do. CNS has a myriad of things it's trying to do all of the time. Thus, the 125 trillion synaptic exchanges just in the brain alone, let alone all of the other synaptic exchanges that are feeding information to and from the gut.
It's actually amazing.
Yeah, it's hard to even get a grip on,
Yeah.
but it's exciting when you start to learn about it. So when we think, okay, what does it influence? What does the CNS influence? Influences your voluntary and involuntary processes. Think about your core thoughts, your perceptions, your emotions. Those are all part and dealt with within the CNS, that central nervous system. So when you have stress on the CNS or radiation or toxins that are starting to damage cellular structure, function, communication within the CNS, you then develop neurodegenerative diseases. That's has been known to be historically involved. Think of Alzheimer's, and also not just neurodegenerative diseases, but neuropsychiatric disorders are also tied to the destruction of cells within the CNS. There you want to think about anxiety and depression. Those are all factors within this environment, and we don't necessarily think about these things. We don't consider that, boy, that environment is hurt.
Well, I think a lot of us think that these things are inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, we all, my parents, your parents, and sometimes me, I think of this, that sometimes a slow reaction and thought process or forgetting something that you just know so well is like, well, I'm getting old.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. I saw this saying the other day. How did it go? It was so funny. It said, don't be jealous, but I can forget what I'm doing right in the middle of when I'm doing it.
Yes, but it's true, and often we make the mistake. And I'll say generally this is a mistake. It doesn't mean I'm not discounting any specific conditions.
Right.
But generally it's a mistake just to attribute aging for natural slow brain or CNS function.
Because we don't have to have that happen.
It doesn't have to happen. And often I would attribute that sensation of things slowing down and not functioning the way we want them to because of damage that's done to the cells.
Through oxidative stress.
Through oxidative stress
Yeah.
and those free radicals roaming free and just doing damage. So when we talk about Think was designed to combat this very nature. Not just to support you with a rich supply of antioxidants, but also a structure that's intended to instigate the natural brain function responses that protect it.
And to support them.
Right? And so what you were trying to do is don't just throw more resource at it, but throw specific resources that allow the brain to do its process most efficiently. But then also when things are lessened, it has the right rich resource to do something about them. It's like filling up the tank with gas, right? I mean, if you have to stop every mile and add a mile's worth of gas, that's going to be rough on the brain's process and the engine itself. But if you can always be supporting it with a full tank, you're going to give it its rich resource to do what it needs to do.
See, and I love the idea of think too, because I think in this day and age, we're so used to just throwing drugs at it. We're so used to, oh, you have this problem, take this medication, or and instead of getting to the root of the problem and trying to fix the issues.
Yeah, and even allowing the system to do what it's supposed to do.
Right.
Right?
Our bodies are smart.
Yeah. So when we think of think isn't made of anything synthetic.
Nothing.
Think is only resourced by things that are natural, naturally derived ingredients. And we're going to talk a little bit about those ingredients. But I want to talk just briefly about an example of one of those natural brain responses to cleaning up dangers and destruction in the environment.
Okay.
The brain naturally scavenges for harmful particles. And this is known as the antioxidant response system. This system, one of the things it does is it activates a nuclear factor within the brain called NRF2. This is a reaction where it goes through and it goes into the environment trying to assess the presence of dangerous particles, clean them up, and get them on their way. The challenge, and this is probably a real factor, and this is thus we feel this over time, is that with age, the NRF2 response is less responsive.
A little slower?
A little slower.
Yeah.
And so what we need to do is, with a natural process, natural support
stimulate
that reaction. Give it the resources to do what it needs to do. The brain can do it. It's just over time, it starts to slow it. It's known to start to slow some of these things. Not slowing your thought process, but slowing the process of its reaction to help you maintain sharpness, clarity.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So let's
what's
talk.
in it?
So what's in
What's
it?
in
Right,
it?
right. That's what we need to get to.
Yes.
All right. Now let me just preface this by saying these ingredients have been studied over, well, on a personal level. I've studied these ingredients for years and years and years. I love these ingredients. And some of them have specific combinations. They're connected to each other to do something unique. But let's start with the powerhouse, especially regarding the brain, is curcumin.
Curcumin. Now, curcumin is in turmeric, is that correct?
Correct.
And you hear, I hear how powerful turmeric is all the time, but it's actually the curcumin.
Yes,
that is the powerhouse in turmeric.
Great comment, because curcumin is the bioactive compound extracted from turmeric. Now, many of you probably have seen or maybe even take a turmeric supplement, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great thing. Hopefully you cook with it. It's been used for hundreds of years throughout Asia and throughout the world. But just to give you an idea, 2 to 8% of turmeric is curcumin.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's it?
So if you're taking, 1,000 milligrams of turmeric, you're thinking, okay, the actual bioactive compound that I'm really benefiting is 2 to 8% of that.
Very small amount.
So you just want to get, just whatever you're taking, you just want to make sure you get into that most effective part of that ingredient. And here, curcumin is it.
Yes.
Right? And what curcumin, of the many things this ingredient does, it is known to be a bioactive compound that activates the NRF2 response, the one we just talked about.
Yep.
Many more qualities with this ingredient, and we could talk probably ad nauseum, but it is a leading support against neurodegenerative disease. So you think about any form of dementia, this ingredient actually is one of the very few things that has been shown to help protect against
I
that
think
process.
that's one of the things that I'm attracted to with this ingredient is I have an extensive family history
with it.
of dementia. And so I watched my grandmother and my uncle and suffer with it, and it's not fun.
Yeah, it's not a fun thing, and some things can't be completely absolved. But we do know that there are things that the body is.
We're not powerless.
We're not powerless,
Right.
but the body's a miracle, and
Yes.
it has its own resources.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we support it with the right things early enough, it does protect and help and restore even things that aren't functioning well. Curcumin tied with resveratrol. Resveratrol is a polyphenol. This is a compound of micronutrients that's naturally occurring in plants. We coupled these two together because together they produce a powerful antioxidant function. Their level of anti-inflammatory work against toxic chemicals is evident. And so it reduces that oxidative damage. And what kind of becomes the process within the brain because of the damage done because of free radicals is not just inflammation, but chronic inflammation, where it's just an environment that just cycles on itself. We talk about this all the time too.
Yep.
It just cycles on itself over
and causes
and over
so
and over
much
again.
more damage than you think.
Yeah, but this powerhouse, this combo actually comes in and does a powerful job, not just dealing with the free radicals, but more with resveratrol. Beta amyloid protein, when fragmented and clumped together, it disrupts the signaling between brain cells. Resveratrol helps in protecting the brain against this clumping of the beta amyloid protein. That is a huge factor, known factor with any of the degenerative diseases as far as the neurodegenerative diseases. These ingredients in particular work together to fight off the amyloid plaque and that buildup, and they provide protection for the nerve cell itself. So we wanted those two together.
Yeah, those are powerhouses.
We wanted to make
right
sure
there.
that those together. Now, have you
What
ever
else do
heard?
we have?
Have you ever heard of coenzyme Q10?
Yes, my scanner actually kept pulling up coenzyme Q10 until I finally went down and got some. Like, okay, I'm gonna listen to my scanner, and guess what? When I took it my scanner. But guess what? You know this. I'm terrible at taking supplements and remembering to do it. He is wonderful at it. He loves this stuff.
Yes.
I'm like, until I have a warning signal.
But yeah, well, and it is. And sometimes we need the warnings, and sometimes we just need the learning, and sometimes we need a little bit more proof or education. So let's talk about what coenzyme Q10 is referred to as CoQ10 more commonly in the marketplace. Let me say this: mitochondrial dysfunction has been associated with neurodegenerative diseases. And so why CoQ10 is here is because it is required by the mitochondria to have sufficient energy process and function within the cell. The dysfunction of mitochondrial dysfunction actually releases more free radicals into the brain and causes disruption in the normal process of cell death. That in and of itself disrupts the function of the cells and their function from birth to death as far as how they exist or replicate in the brain itself. It is known that CoQ10, like the NRF2 response, decreases with age within the body naturally.
That's why it's showing up on my scanner. I'm just getting older.
Oh, you do remember the commercial. So,
Oh.
I do too.
Okay.
So
You're older than I am.
So, so we've added CoQ10 with strengthening amounts within Think to combat this fading natural production that takes place within the body. We've added this because studies done by neurology centers, hospitals, and even the famed Harvard Medical School, that research from those different institutions has shown strong support for oral supplementation of CoQ10 for its antioxidant benefits, damage correction, and an improved function within the mitochondria.
Wow. Yeah.
So that in and of itself, if those were the only arguments, it's worth adding it.
Right.
But there's so much more that CoQ10 does, and we won't jump into it now.
Okay.
Now let's go to one of my favorites.
Okay.
As if I think I'm talking like these are my favorites.
I think
They're
you love every
they're like my children,
I was gonna
right? I'm
say.
patting them on the heads as they
You
walk
are.
by.
You love all
oh,
of us.
thank you for being here today.
You have studied this for a lot of years, though.
Yeah. So niacinamide,
Oh,
also
you
known
love
as
niacinamide.
vitamin B3.
Yeah.
There is some rich information on niacinamide and vitamin B3 in and of itself on so many fronts. Now, obviously, we're focusing with Think, we're focusing on the brain and brain health as the primary brain and making sure that this connection is solid, right? But there are many, many benefits. Let's just say that from the outset. I'm going to focus on a couple of them with Think. So studies have shown that a preservation of mitochondrial function actually reduces, again, amyloid beta peptides, these proteins, and this reduction also not just protects the brain as far as the tangling that takes place there and that gumming up the communication between brain cells, but niacinamide also reduces the phosphorylation of tau protein. The hardening, the tau protein, if you've heard this term before, we know that tau protein is tied directly, and even it's one of those areas where whatever the causation is for any form of dementia or neurodegenerative disease is tied with the tau protein. Well, the hardening, that phosphorylation of tau protein actually is when the neural fibril degeneration actually tangles those fibrils. We've talked about the
You've
tangling
talked about
of
this
fibrils
before. Yeah.
We talked about gold actually
Yes.
being shown to inhibit the tangling of those fibrils, right?
That's our fulvic acid. This is our gold.
The fulvic acid, correct, the onyx gold. But what niacinamide does, it reduces the hardening of the tau protein in that tangling process.
Gotcha.
So we have two fronts that we're battling here. And there's so many more fronts to battle. But this is just a couple of reasons why we have niacinamide in there.
You love niacinamide, though.
Yeah, niacinamide, it reduces oxidative stress.
Yeah.
It's been shown to do that. It reduces glutamate-induced toxicity, which is another thing that damages the neuron and disrupts the cell death process. It also preserves NAD within the brain. This is key for brain energy metabolism and the ATP production within the brain. Niacinamide, like I said, does so many things. Those are just a few areas that why we've included them this ingredient specifically within Think, because that combination of benefits, you just need it.
Right.
There's no way, to me, there's no way to really support the brain sufficiently without having at least niacinamide in there. You need it to support those functions. All right.
What else? What else we got here?
A mouthful. And so you tell me if you can say this. Phosphatidylserine.
Phosphatidylserine.
Okay, we'll refer to it as PS, right?
Okay, all right.
PS. This is needed for nerve cell function, and one of my favorite parts of the brain cell is the myelin sheath.
You have a favorite part of a brain cell?
I do.
Oh.
Everybody does. Don't they? Come on.
Let me think about what my favorite part is. I don't know.
One of the things I love about the myelin sheath is this. The myelin sheath, when it's thickened and protected, obviously when it's healthy, is the signaling that takes place through repetition of that signaling. Actually, it is more efficient. It is most efficient the thicker that myelin sheath becomes. There's a lot of other research about how you can develop that, but what we want to also do with PS or phosphatidylserine is ensure that the myelin sheath is healthy, that it's functioning well, that it can be thickened over time by the repeat learning of any activity you want to learn. You want to get better at something? Why do you get better at it? That repetition, there actually is a chemical change taking place, and part of that chemical change that's taking place when you do something just off the cuff because you've done it so much, the myelin sheath around those exchanges is so thick that the speed and efficiency of that communication, it couldn't be better.
Really?
Right? That's what's taking place. A decline in PS in the cell membrane leads to impaired neurotransmission, that information passing from cell to cell to cell. So what we want to do is make sure that the membrane is healthy. We want to make sure the myelin sheath is healthy so that the function can be healthy. This is what is commonly found as we age. We knew something, just can't put our finger on it.
Walk into the room and you can't remember what you came in the room for.
Yes, exactly right. So let me just give you some proof behind that. A meta-analysis of 127 different articles showed that phosphatidylserine helped prevent structural deterioration in individuals supplementing with PS.
Wow.
So adding this as an ingredient goes right along the line of this massive amount of study and research done to show that it actually does a measurable impact in keeping that structure in place.
Wow.
It's highly absorbable. And so that's a great thing for passing the blood-brain barrier. And thus people commonly, when they take Think, they commonly have a very quick reaction to it.
Yes.
Because of some of these ingredients. It's linked to improved memory in older individuals in other studies, especially in studies that have Alzheimer's patients in them.
Really?
It has helped with memory with those who have a different challenge, ADHD.
Oh, yes.
Is shown to help with memory in patients with those when it's added as a supplement. Let me make a note though. Phosphatidylserine, it's a mouthful, PS, when coupled with Omega Pro, actually, and this is why we bring them together, we're starting to get into that. When coupled with DHA, which is in Omega Pro, now we haven't said what's in Omega Pro.
Right.
Let me give you the short. Omega Pro is a highly rich and effective omega-3 solution. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. But in omega-3, you have two main parts, EPA, DHA. Both are fatty acids. So with PS, when it's coupled with the DHA in Omega Pro, the studies show that there was an improved neuroprotective action of the PS. So that DHA actually supported this ingredient's function in the brain. And thus we bring these two together and say, you really need to be taking these together, right? Okay, a couple more quick ones.
Okay.
I know this is an exhaustive list, right? But when it's not an exhaustive set of support.
Right.
Each one of these ingredients.
Well, every single ingredient is so key.
You could talk about these ingredients for weeks.
Well, you could.
I could.
Okay.
Okay. Lion's mane mushroom. Okay. We have this in our X product.
Yes, we do.
Lion's mane mushroom has a rich history. It helps repair nerve management.
Did you take yours today?
I apparently maybe not. Repairing nerve damage. And early gene expression are two of the things. Gene expression is that process of the gene replicating. Okay, so we want to be able to make sure that we hit that. It also significantly improves depressive disorder. It's shown to be associated in helping the improvement.
You know, it's funny. A lot of these things that you're stating in a lot of these ingredients. Why aren't we giving this to our teenager?
Yeah. Well, so think. Let's note that ages of Think. We want to focus on a 16 and older with Think right now. We don't want to go much less than that, just because there's not enough information with groups younger than that as far as children go. But regarding the depressive disorder and support there, it helps modulate serotonin, dopamine, neuroepinephrine. I always get tongue-tied in all these big words, but I can read them fine. The neurotransmitter systems and the anti-inflammatory pathways are all supported by lion's mane mushroom.
It's powerful.
All right, last one.
Okay.
Rhodiola rosea. Not a lot of people know this ingredient, but Rhodiola rosea is an herb, comes from cold mountainous regions throughout Europe and Asia. It's been used for hundreds of years. Studies of this ingredient have showed that it helps improve learning and brain function, that it helps with escape latency.
With what?
Escape latency.
Oh, okay.
That the dissipation of memories and thinking process of losing track of your thoughts.
Oh,
That's what we're talking
great.
about here. It is shown to improve memory and learning in other studies because of its antioxidant help. Cholinergic regulation. This is the long-term memory consolidation that takes place over time within the brain. Rhodiola rosea helps with that, has been shown to help with that. It supports proper processing of death at the end of their lives. So we've talked about how some natural process to get disrupted in the cell life death process, leaving particles that can damage in the brain. Rhodiola rosea helps with the proper end to the cell's life and making sure that function as well. It's also been known to help with coronary blood flow and cerebral metabolism.
Wow.
So much just in that product or that ingredient alone.
Okay, we could go on and on and on, but
Yes.
we need to wrap this up just a little bit.
Okay, so we're moving on. So there's so much to say. Okay, let's talk about Omega Pro.
Yes.
And then we'll tie in just a couple of these benefits.
No, one of the things is, okay, but you can get omega-3 anywhere. So
Great comment. So let's first talk about omega-3. Omega Pro is what we have found to be the best source of omega-3 that we could find in the marketplace. Meaning, what makes it the best source? This is Antarctic krill. Why is Antarctic krill valuable? It does a few things.
is it hard to source?
Well, it's hard to sustainably source. And so we worked with found a provider that would help us in the sustainable sourcing of an omega-3 that is krill, because krill does two things. It's highly absorbable form of omega-3, and it has the right ratio of EPA to DHA.
Oh, we've heard that before.
EPA, we're looking for specifically a higher EPA to DHA ratio.
Okay.
We'll talk about that in just a second. But if you can find a great source of omega-3 other than Omega Pro, use it.
Do it.
Right, we want you to.
We just want you using
just
omega-3.
take it with Think, though,
Yes,
because
yes.
the combination actually has its unique support. So let's talk quickly about omega-3. Why a rich source of omega-3? The brain produces more free radicals than any other organ in the body. The brain also has the highest level of polyunsaturated fatty acids in the body. These fatty acids, these are easily damaged by free radicals. So you can see that combination really stinks, right? Highest free radicals, highest polyunsaturated, damage is like evident right on its face. Omega Pro has this omega-3 fatty acid from this sustainable source to support this damage or correct this damage. Okay,
We don't want to support the damage.
No, we
do
don't want
wanna
to make it
correct
better. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple of things. Studies of patients with dementia and pre-dementia symptoms, that's an interesting one, right? Show that both DHA and EPA are lower in dementia patients, but only EPA was lower in pre-dementia patients.
Oh.
So before we are full diagnosed, we want to support a higher EPA level in that reduced process that the body is naturally experiencing. Other studies suggest that EPA rather than DHA helped in reducing symptoms of depression. Omega Pro has this ratio, intended ratio of a higher EPA to DHA in order to meet what's evident in those studies. Other benefits. Long-term supplementation of omega-3, a rich omega-3, showed reduced levels of, again, beta-amyloid peptide buildup, diminished neuronal loss, okay? Improved cognitive function from some other studies in Alzheimer's disease, and 181,000 individuals tested showed a reduced risk of developing cognitive impairment and neurodegenerative disease.
Wow.
By the supplementation. That's a huge number.
That is a huge
right?
number.
Another study in females specifically, so ears ringing, right? Between the ages of 50 and 75 showed supplementation actually improved cognitive function.
Wow.
Yeah. Rich stuff. And that was compared to the placebo. So good clinical work there regarding a rich, supportive omega-3. One more thought. When coupled with B vitamins.
Like in Think.
Yeah.
Niacinamide.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Niacinamide is in Think. So when omega-3 or our Omega Pro is coupled with Think, you get this special combination of improving cognitive function that could only take place when the omega-3 was coupled with this B vitamin. Each on their own couldn't develop this result. When they came together,
you had it.
You had it.
Wow.
And so thus we couple them together. We are so proud to bring such a powerful set of combinations to market.
We are.
We believe that this combined benefit alone is unique in its specific and how specific it is. Its type and the quality and quantity of what we have together.
Well, and I kind of talked about in the beginning how this was my favorite supplement I've ever taken.
Yeah.
And I'm a fader outer of supplements. I like taking them for a little while, and then I don't really see any benefits. I don't really notice, and so I stopped taking them.
Yeah.
That has not been the case with Think, and I know you're so excited about that. You always want me to take things, but this, okay, I feel like you have become the Think dealer in this company.
Yeah.
Because we tested it here for quite a while. We always do that. We test our products on our employees. It's great to work here, and sometimes better than others. But this Think, we have all seen such a difference. Let me just tell you with me, okay? First of all, I do notice, and yes, I have taken it without Pro and with Pro, and there is a marked difference in the my clarity of thought.
Yeah.
So I love Think because I can tell, and it's a very soon after I take it response where I do have kind of the fog clear and I can feel it and I am so much more productive. So we're actually recommending to take one in the morning with one Think and one Pro together in the morning and one Think and one Pro in the evening. Now let me tell you what it does in the evening.
What it's done for you anyways.
What it's done for me.
Yeah.
I have never had, I dream all the time and I usually remember my dreams and it really makes him mad because he's like, I just woke up and I have no idea what I dreamed about. My dreams are so vivid. I'm going on an adventure every night. It is crazy how much fun it is. And then I wake up in the morning and I get to relive it and think, oh my gosh, and then this happened and then that happened. And really fun dreams. Not only that though, I don't wake up. I don't toss and turn every time I take it. And then if I forget to take it, I know. I think, dang it, I need to take my Think.
Yeah.
I love Think and I will always take Think.
Yeah, so that right along those lines, the recommended dosing is, and there's specific reasons for it, is AM and PM. Take them together, Think and Pro, Omega Pro together in the morning, one capsule each. Take them together at night. We know the process. In the morning, you've just gone through the fasting period and you need the rich resource available for that antioxidant function. At night is the cleanup process within the brain. During
That's when
your
brain
sleep,
does its hard work.
it also needs the resources.
Yeah.
So we're not trying to make a rich part of the day. We're trying to balance the richness throughout the day. And so we recommend in the morning and then at night. Now let's hit pricing.
Okay.
People are probably asking, okay, what are the pricing? What are the points?
Before you say pricing, I just want to say one thing about our pricing. We are not like other companies where like our supplements are we don't pay the light bill with making money on supplements.
Yeah.
And so we keep our prices as low as we can go because the reason we are introducing these supplements to you is really we're just trying to complement the scanner.
Yes.
We are trying to bring in the things that will bring your body the most balance.
Yes.
And so the scanner is our
pride and joy.
It's our pride and joy.
It's the flagship. It's while you're here, while we are here.
So we can bring you remarkable supplements and products, and we don't need to make. We're not trying to make a killing on them. We're actually they're very reasonably priced.
And when we do price that, we obviously know that we've chosen. You know this too because you're in it. The distribution model is direct sales.
Right.
These are kind of products that you could put on Amazon and they sell, or you could put them in Walmart or Costco or wherever, and they would move, right?
Right.
But we want our distribution force to be able to build their business and supplement and support their business. You want to give yourself a raise today, you go and you can sell this and give yourself a compensation on top of.
Well, there may be someone who isn't interested in the scanner, but maybe they are interested in degenerative brain health.
Yeah, they may not be ready for the conversation about energy and frequencies, but they will be ready. Mm-hmm. And in the meantime, you still have options to bring them in with premium products that are well priced. In fact, our pricing is intended to be competitive with those other distribution models, like Amazon, like the Costco's, like
not the other MLMs. It's a lot lower.
Yeah.
Okay, tell them the price.
Okay, so think loyalty price, $34. If you put it on auto ship, it's a $30 price point with 25 points tied to that.
That's amazing.
Omega Pro. Our again, choose your own. If you love, your own version of omega-3, use it. But Omega Pro, loyalty price $22, $20 if you have it on auto ship, 17 points.
You say choose your own, but we know the quality of this. I will choose Omega Pro.
We source it specifically. I think we've talked about that. Now there's one more solution.
Okay.
Buy them together. Okay? Because we're saying take these together. Combo pricing. Loyalty combo pricing for Think and Omega Pro, $50 loyalty. If you put the combination on auto ship, select that combo, $45 with 36 points.
That's amazing.
You guys, we're trying to do the best to make sure that this is in everybody's hands, that they have a fantastic experience with it, and that your customers and your new prospects and recruits love you because you introduced them to such a powerful combination of products. We hope you love it. We hope this is a fun announcement, and we provide you with probably too much information, but we love giving you information. So learn. Come back and visit it. I'm sure you can visit this video over and over again.
And let us know. Let us know what you think about these products. Let us know your experiences.
Okay.